Welcome to the Simply Jesus podcast. This season, we are focusing on what it looks like to be Jesus in your daily life or business. And I'm excited to bring you these inspiring stories. I recently realized that I really like to read children's books out loud. It's just one of those things that brings me a lot of joy. So I found another book, and I hope, my goal is to bring you a profound book because there are so many children's books that have these really great messages, and I think that's where my heart is. So today I'm going to read Firebird. This book has a really great message, and I actually really needed this book this week, and I will tell you why after I finish. So let's start reading Firebird. Firebird, he lived for the sunshine. This book is dedicated to all of those serving at-risk children for showing them sunshine through the storms. Once upon a time, there lived a little baby Oriole named Firebird. His mama named him that on account of his brilliantly beautiful orange feathers. Firebird just lived for the sunshine. On those glorious sunny days, he would fly way up high to the highest branch he could find, throw back his little head, and bask in the glow of the sun. But oh, when the rains came, little Firebird would whine and complain, "Why, Mama? Why does God let this storm take the sun away?" Mama would just smile and say, "You'll know someday, baby." Then she'd get that faraway look, as if she were looking straight up to the sun. "You'll know when you take a walk on the clouds." Now, over and over again, the rains would come, and over again, Firebird would complain to his mama. Until one day, a huge storm rolled in, and Mama had a different answer. "Firebird," Mama said with a nod toward the clouds, "the answers are up there waiting for you, but you're going to have to fly on up there and see it for yourself." Little Firebird was so scared he hadn't used his wings much at all, and now they trembled at the sight of the storm clouds above. Still, he just had to find out for himself. He had to know why God let the storm take the sun away. So up he went, up into the great unknown. But instead of answers, poor little Firebird only found thunder, lightning, and a fierce howling wind. He feared it would rip him apart. He was just about to turn back when it happened. Firebird broke through the clouds, and there it was. In that one moment, it all became clear. All alone, in the midst of the darkest storm, Firebird saw the sun shining more brightly than ever. And then he knew God never let the storm take the sun away. It was as constant as his mother's love, waiting there just above the clouds. Little Firebird never forgot that moment, even after he was a big Firebird. He still loved to bask in the sunshine, but more importantly, knowing the sun was always there, Firebird had learned to rejoice in the rain. The back of the book says, "What if God's love were like the sun, constant and unchanging? What if one day you realized nothing could take that away?" So as I was looking for a book to read and I reread this book that I used to read my son, I realized that we all sometimes need to hear this message that even in our darkest days, when maybe we're not sure where the sun is, that we are not alone. And I feel like I've been going through maybe like a season of grief. And sometimes grief is hard because you can't just work through it. Sometimes you just have to sit in your grief. There's something about grief that makes you feel like you're all alone. And as I was trying to sit with the Lord and maybe get some answers, I felt like He said, "Cheryl, just because you feel alone doesn't mean you are alone." And He reminded me that He was with me, that Jesus was close by me, and that there were many people around me who also loved me. So even though I had this intense feeling of loneliness, I wasn't actually alone. So as I sat in that grief and I tried to picture Jesus around me, right? I feel alone, but I'm not. I still was asking Him, why do we feel so lonely in our grief? And I felt like He said, it's because you've lost something that you can't get back. And so you feel the loss of that, which can feel lonely, even if you were not physically alone by yourself. And then he reminded me that Jesus, because he became human and he walked on this earth, he knows what that feels like. He was lonely. He had loss and he dealt with grief. And so he understands me. So, sometimes I feel like I just need to know that Jesus is just sitting next to me. Sometimes I need him to hold my hand. Maybe I need him to give me a hug, but sometimes I just need to know he's there. And there's something about that that is so comforting. And so I want to remind you that Jesus is with you, that you can call on him. And even in your mind, you can just picture him when you are feeling lonely. Picture him sitting next to you. He knows how you feel. He understands you, and he loves you so much that he gave up his life for you. So he wants to be with you and he wants to have a relationship with you. Some of the other things you can do if you are stuck in grief or you're just trying to lean into grief, which is not fun. I recently found a song that was really comforting to me. It's a new song, but it's really simple. I think it has like a guitar and just the verses. So check it out. Let me read you the lyrics. It says, "He has done great things, arms open wide, the Lamb crucified. Worthy is he. He has done great things. Our God has done great things. Thorn on his brow, grace flowing down, worthy is he. As high as the heavens above, great is his everlasting love. Rivers of mercy run over us. As far as the east is from the west, he has removed all our sin. We are forgiven by his blood." So that's called "He Has Done Great Things." And you can find it on YouTube. But it's really comforting to me to sit in that song. There's just something about it. It brings me a lot of hope. I think it draws me closer to the Lord. So something else that you can do that the Lord has been giving me is the Psalms. So the Psalms are in the Old Testament, and there's a lot of lament in there. Not everybody is happy and things are perfect. But recently the Lord brought me to Psalm 90, and it's verses 13 through 17. So let me just read this for you real quick. This is the writer just says, "Lord, how long? Turn and have compassion on your servants. Satisfy us in the morning with your faithful love, so that we may shout with joy and be glad all our days. Make us rejoice for as many days as you have humbled us, for as many days as we have seen adversity. Let your work be seen by your servants, and your splendor by their children. Let the favor of the Lord our God be on us. Establish for us the works of our hands. Establish the works of our hands." So I think when I read this, I think I just felt maybe seen. Like there's other people that have gone through what I've gone through. And sometimes we just cry out to the Lord. We don't have the perfect answer. We just cry out to the Lord and tell him we need him. So I hope that encourages you, especially if you're going through a time of grieving or grief for whatever reason. It could be your job or your marriage. It could be the fact that you had to leave a church, or just what's going on in the world today, but that the God is our comforter and he wants to comfort you. So thank you for coming with me on this little journey. And I will post all of the Firebird book and the Psalm and the music video also in the show notes so that you can take a look at it, so that you will have some tools to deal with your grief. So may the Lord bless you in your grief, and may you feel him ever close. May you be blessed by his presence. I hope you enjoyed this book. I think there is something so calming about reading children's books, and honestly, I miss reading out loud to my son. If you could leave a review on Apple or Spotify, that would really help me out. It gives my podcast more visibility so others can find it. Thanks.